DeFoi. Welcome to News Junkies. Visiting with me on this week's edition is on my right to your left, George Vincent, and on my left, your right, is Rick Irvin. These are gentlemen that are in the Hollywood community. They are writers, directors, and actors. And we're going to talk to George to begin with. And George, you've been in television. In fact, tell us about your rise to working in the entertainment community.
Sure, I'd love to. Well, it all began in New York City when the phone rang, and I was doing a lot of theater, and from there I ended up getting a position on a soap opera called One Life to Live, and it was great. It would last for about 2 years. It was a recurring role, and then from there I just said, you know what, I want to do more film. So my wife and I, we moved out to California, and here we are.
And here you are, and you're involved in a new project, and we're going to be talking about that in just a little bit.
Awesome. Very good.
So let's turn over here to Rick. And Rick, you have a distinction amongst different actors, excuse me, and you've been in a lot of horror pictures.
Yes, I'm the number 2 black guy to die in all horror films on the planet. I'm from the Bay Area. I did theater for about 13 years, decided to move out to LA because I loved horror films. So I just wanted to do horror films. So I moved out here, started doing horror films, and became the number 2 black guy to die in horror films. I've worked on a few soaps, Days of Our Lives and Passions. Not long as George. They got wind of me and they said, okay, that's enough. So.
Well, I'm sitting downwind of you too, but that's another story. So anyway, you're also involved in this project that we're going to be talking about.
Yes.
And so, George, with this project, tell us what's going on.
Okay, we've been at this project right now with Ricky and myself about a year and change, and it's a family faith-based project that I've been writing. It's a personal story, true events. Not the whole thing is true, but true events. And we've been working on it, and we've been working on what's called a teaser trailer currently. So it's basically something that'll give everybody an opportunity to see what the film is about.
Excellent. And let's talk a little bit about the actual movie, if we could, and give us a sense as to what the plot line is all about.
Okay. Well, I think we've all experienced some difficult times in our lives, and what happens is that a lot of people get discouraged, and this movie is really meant to help people, give them hope and let them find faith through the time of need. That's really what it's about. It's really, I believe what I went through, I'm no different than anybody else. People go through hard times, and because I came out of it because of something life-changing, I'd like to share it with the world, and that's how Ricky came on board, and we're together now to make this thing come true.
So, Rick, what is your role with the movie?
I'm helping George produce, and have a small part in it also. George and I met on another set, and we clicked instantly, the first day I met him. We talked about doing, films with more of a message. Me coming from the horror genre, I would always prey on the films and the work I was doing, and I just wanted to leave something with the world more positive, something that means more. I wanted to start, having a legacy, a positive, something that I could leave with the world that, my family would be proud of. So I talked to George, and, he had the story he told me about his life, and I said, man, and he had already been thinking about making a film about it, and I was like, let's do it. I'm on. The world needs to see this story. The world needs to hear this. So we've been going ever since, and George came up with the amazing script, and I can't wait to work with him on this film, and I can't wait to work on many more with George. So, I'm excited about Heavenly Deposit. Can't wait for you guys to see it. Can't wait to share it with the world.
And wouldn't it be a fair statement to say that faith-based films are gaining a lot of traction here in America?
Yeah, faith-based films are doing really well in America. Even big Hollywood got wind of, that there's an actual audience for more positive faith-based, productions. I mean, and there needs to be a balance. There's so many bad things out there. There's so much negativity. Why not have something you can take your whole family to, a story that's inspiring and hope, that has hope in it. Why not? So there's a big fan base for faith-based films, and we're glad to go ahead and share ours with you.
Well, one of the actors that we met today actually worked on the movie God's Not Dead.
That's correct. Benji Chiang, who's an incredible human being. We got to meet him. I actually was at a networking event, and it's incredible how it's never your time. It's the timing is basically from above. I mean, when the time is right, it's right. So I was at a networking event, and this young lady introduced me to Benji and said, this is another actor, you might, get along, chat, whatever. And I said, sure. And I got to meet him, and I was like, Benji, I said, what was the last thing you worked on? He goes, God's Not Dead. And I said, huh. I said, that's interesting. I said, I was just looking up the distribution company on that. And he goes, yeah, it's PureFlix. And I said, yeah, I was looking them up myself just the other day. I said, this is incredible. And long story short, he said, you should watch God's Not Dead. And I did. And I was blown away. And I thank goodness we exchanged information, contact info. And long story short, I said, hey, would you be interested in being a part of our film? And he said, yes. So we started shooting our teaser trailer, and Benji was in this morning's episode, and it was awesome. He's an incredible human being.
That's, it's interesting when you have somebody of that caliber in a movie that gained a lot of popularity when it was out in the theaters to be a part of this project.
Yeah, we feel blessed. We really, really do. And he's been 100% on board with us, opening up his house to us. Whatever we need, he's there for us. And that he said, these were his words, he goes, this movie must be made. And that's something that has always resonated with me, because I was sharing this movie one at a time with people, and they were just blown away, the idea of what happened. And then finally I told a minister, and he goes, you got to share this big time. You have to really get this out. So I think this is what I, my background, it's why not use what I have, what, God blessed me with, so I can share it to the masses. So that's why we're doing this right now. Perfect venue.
And you're filming a lot of this right here in Oxnard, California.
Absolutely. I cannot seriously say enough about this city. They've been incredible. They've opened up their doors to us, Bill. People that, family and friends don't even do what this city has done for us, including yourself. I mean, I can go on and name a ton of people, but the reality is I've never experienced anything like this. And that's why we're looking to work with Oxnard, bring more filming to the city. And at the same time, the city's helping us to be able to make our film, inexpensively. In
cultivating this particular project, how has this shaped your faith?
Wow. Let's go back to me. Ricky, you first.
All right. So, Rick, how has this changed your faith? Improved it? Grown? How has it affected your faith?
I have grown in the Lord. I mean, in the past few years, you are who you hang around, and they're a reflection of yourself. And I prayed about my career. I prayed on my career. Being an actor, there's a borderline between ego and and everything. And like I said, I wanted to leave the world with something. So I prayed about the movies I was doing. I wasn't sure if it was right. I'm like, well, these actors say they're Christian and they're doing horror films, so it must be okay for me to do. God gave me my answer. I prayed, and I got approached about doing a film that was really bad. I mean, it was bad. And I said, okay, thank you, Lord, for that answer. How can I serve you, Lord? How can I give my life to you and still do what I love without, jeopardizing, my soul? So I met George right after that, and he told me his amazing story. This has not been an easy road for George and I. You know, what's been easy is my relationship with George and you wonderful people in Oxnard. That's what's been easy, and that's what's kept us going. And, you know, and that was God reaching in and saying it's going to be okay. It's going to take a little bit. You know, you have to go through the fire and come out like a bronze, like, you know, shiny bronze. But first, that bronze has to go through the fire. I knew we'd be okay. And this is just, I mean, I was already strong in my faith, but I think that through this process and through the amazing people that we've met here, like George said, including yourself and everyone else, it's just strengthened my, I became stronger in my faith and through the Lord. So wow.
Well, I can speak for myself and probably my colleagues that it's really a joy and a pleasure to be involved in this project, but I'm not going to let you get off easy there, George. So how has this shaped your faith?
Okay. Well, I can say that I've always had faith, but this has definitely brought it more to the forefront. You know, it kind of like holds a mirror up to you. You know, it's like, are you truly who you are? Do you do what you say you do? You know, how honest are you with yourself and with, you know, leading a good life? So it was like, it's been an interesting road, and I don't regret one ounce of it. It's been amazing. The good thing is that we're getting some feedback from people. We're on Facebook. We have a page on Facebook called, you know, Heavenly Deposit. And people are leaving comments how this film is helping them, how it's the idea, meaning the idea they can relate to. They want to see this film. So, and it's people that are reaching out. I'm reaching out to more Christians and more faith-based people than ever in my life. It's like, it's pretty incredible. And it feels good. It feels good because, you know, you're like a beacon for somebody, but then you get to share and you get to find out that more people believe the same way you do.
It's interesting that you would bring that up because I know that people that I have shared the information with, you have reached out to them, and they have really appreciated the fact that you would take the time to talk with them via Facebook. And I know your wife, my gosh, she was up till all hours of the morning responding to over 1,000 likes on the Facebook page. That's amazing.
It is. It's truly something that's blown my mind. I know that this story needs to be told. I know it needs to get out there. But what's even more impressive is the fact that we are getting people who really genuinely want to see this, and the whole thing about, you know, it's basically a film about finding faith and hope in a time of need. People can actually relate to that. So it's a great bridge.
I don't want to give away the entire plot, but I want to put out this little bit of a nugget if I could. Sure. This involved your dad because you were very close to your dad.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, he was my best friend, and it's something that, you know, when something tragic happens to you, to your best friend or whatever, it's something that you'll never forget. So because of that, I felt like I needed to, you know, just share how much he meant to me, and I know there are people out there who will relate to it.
So you can check that out on Facebook and go to Heavenly Deposit in the search engine, yep, and you can learn more about the movie.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, we've got some amazing people we've got more people coming on board. As a matter of fact, there's a gentleman by the name of Frank Ashmore. Please, Ricky.
All right, tell us about Mr. Ashmore.
Mr. Ashmore is, once again, we've been blessed to have amazing people part of this project that are faith-based. Frank Ashmore is a Christian. If you might remember him from the movie Airplane 2, Airplane 2 and Airplane 3, I think he was in. Also on the TV show V, the 80s one. The 80s TV show V, which, you know, all us senior citizens, we remember that.
I do.
Right. We connected with Frank, and we went and had lunch with him. I mean, he is I mean, we've been blessed. Like I said, once you're ready, God puts these amazing people in your path. You have to, swim through a few people, but then you get to these people who this guy is our guy. He's right for the project. And Mr. Ashmore, he's amazing. He can't wait to film with us. He loves the story, and he's one of the actors we have attached. And we have a nice roster coming up, I think.
Wonderful. I know that Frank Ashmore in the movie Airplane, if you'll recall, and there was only 2 airplanes, Airplane 1 and 2, he played the navigator in Airplane 1. He was in the back there, and he would lean out and he'd have this flashy grin. Well, I remember that's one of my favorite films.
Amazing. It was incredible even to sit down with him. I was like, because his presence is pretty amazing. I mean, you feel his presence. I was a bit intimidated, I'll be honest with you, but he's such a genuinely just down-to-earth human being, salt of the earth.
Do you have any other people that you might want to throw out there in terms of name dropping that might be involved in this project?
We're not going to do that just yet until we actually reach out to them. Once we, we're actually in the process of, again, making the teaser trailer, dropping a crowdfunding, campaign, and once we secure the funds that we are looking for, then we'll reach out to those names, but not just yet.
All right, that's fair enough. I mean, come on, this is going to be a phenomenal project. I must tell you, I've read the script. It's phenomenal. You're going to go from this perspective of you lose your dad, but then you gain hope. And I must tell you, it's rather a compelling story.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Rick Irvin and George Vincent have been my guests. We thank you for joining us. I'm Bill DeFoi with News Junkies, a production of the Heritage Media Group.